All right, good morning, y'all. Welcome in. It is House Edge Live with Johnny here from sunny and hot Wenatchee, Washington on a Tuesday. Got some people here already. We got Victor saying hello. We got looks like John Croston's here. We've already said hi to California Craps Club and Gary. I know others are coming too, so this will be a good show today. I'm going to talk about the cruise I was just on, which is the first time I've actually done a lot of gambling in a while because I took that time off about a year ago or so when I kind of lowered the bankroll way down. Just paying for daughter's college and moving into a new house and being out of work for a while. So it's kind of didn't go out much. Been saving, building up the bankroll, literally building my gambling bankroll, playing $2, $3 blackjack down here in town, buying in for like $100, winning 25, and like rinse and repeating that till I had enough money for what I felt was a decent sized bankroll. I was in Vegas for a month and a half. Actually, I was out there for 8 weeks, 9 weeks, something like that. Didn't hardly play at all. I played like 3 times. Very, very small play because again, I'm saving money for this cruise. The cruise was for my daughter's 21st. So we basically took our last free cruise set that we had earned and applied it to this one. So we had my daughter, her best friend, my son, his girlfriend, my father-in-law, his girlfriend, my sister, her best friend, me and Kathy, all of us kind of covered by previous trips, which was fantastic. So we actually applied all of Brian Holy Roller. If you ever watch his channel, all of his logic and theory all went into getting us on this boat, which was great. We had a great time. We were there to party, and I'll say that at the outset. My goal this trip was to party and have fun. My fat rear end was at the pool a couple of days. I got a stupid sunburn. I caught a barracuda down in Ensenada, which was fantastic. Anyway, great trip all the way around, but the gambling was a yikes, and we're going to talk about that today. When I get into that part of the show, I really want to dig into how the gambling went, because that's, you guys don't care about how much I can drink or how great I did at Queen trivia. Just saying, I was on stage a couple times with or without pants. I'm just saying, I had a good, we had a great time with the other cruise stuff. But anyway, let's get into it here. Before we jump in, your daily reminder of how bad it is out there. And I actually have a story about this that relates to the cruise. Okay. Casinos, as you know, exist for one of a couple of reasons, right? They exist to take all your money. Number one, they will take all your money. That's all they're there for, is to suck you dry if they can, right? If you get good or have any kind of an edge at all, you're cooked, right? They will, obviously card counting is no longer a thing for the most part. In bigger casinos, they have the shuffle machines. You can't card count. And if you do card count to any kind of success, you're gone. You can't sports bet with any kind of success, or they'll bet limit you. I have found out that on cruise ships, they employ a lot of other stuff to make sure that you can't get an edge. We'll talk about this in a minute, but my wife, as you all probably know, is a huge video poker player. That's her game of choice. She could write a book on video poker. She probably will write a book. I'll probably record her on the couch one night talking about video poker, just record the whole freaking thing and use that to write a book, because she's that good at that game. But on the cruise ships, the points you get for video poker, the required points have tripled to get a point. So she, in her first couple of cruises, in day 1, day 2, had her points, and by day 3, she lapped me. By day 4, she's making fun of me how many points she got. This cruise, she barely earned it in 4 days. And she gambled hard for 4 days and barely got her free cruise because of, again, I'm not sure if they figured something out, like we have an edge or whatever it is, but they've kind of jacked up video poker's requirements, not the other slots, because somebody found an edge, somebody figured out how to get a free cruise out of it, and now they do what they do. If you catch an edge, they take the edge away. Just kind of what happens. So anyway, don't forget that. Don't forget this. Every day we talk about it. Every day it's important. And the common sense pieces of this is the bridge, right? You have very few tools, right? You've got your bankroll, which you work hard to build. You have how you view risk. You have how smart you are. Can you spot the table that's best for your game, best for your goal, the best rules for you? Do you know how to play the game you're playing? Do you have discipline to execute whatever plan it is you're going to be? I'll tell you what, on a cruise ship, when you're there kind of on task, you're saying, you know what, for a day or two, I'm going to just work hard and get those points. Day 3, 4, I may have some fun. It's hard. It's really hard to sit there and play the horseman for 6 straight hours, knowing that that's going to be your toolkit to win the points. It's really hard to play the same thing for that long purely for points. But that's what you have to do. My goal was what it was, and I never get really I got a little emotional this time. There's a couple of people that really kind of burned me, but for the most part, these are the things that keep you on the straight and narrow. These are the things that the only things you've got in this battle against the casino to kind of walk away with anything at all are these mental tools, I think. And if you don't have them, you've got to work hard to build them. So what happened? My connection was lost. What? All right, I'm gonna talk about the cruise here. I got to put my headset on. I'm gonna bring a guest in to kind of talk through this with me a little bit, if you don't mind. Let me get myself reconnected here, and hold on one second. Am I on? Is my guest here? Hello. He is here. He can hear me. Let me go and switch to the screen here. Brian, how you doing, man?
Hey, what is up, everyone? And
Good.
John.
It's so good to see you. Dude, I got to talk to you about this. So the cruising thing, this is your wheelhouse, obviously, right? You're the cruising guy. I've learned a ton from you. I remember the first time we had really ever met was at the first Crash for the Cure. And you were there, and I interviewed you, and I'm like, I shook your hand for the first time, like, who is this guy? And I'm like, what? Because I always thought cruises were like $5,000-$6,000. There's no way you could ever gamble to earn $5,000 trip. And the more I've researched it and listened to you, I'm like, yeah, that's actually possible. And you've been doing this for how long now?
Oh, over 5 years now. Going on 5 years. I did it for 1 year before I started the channel because I, just like you, I thought this can't be. I get my first cruise, then my second, then my third. After like the 4th or 5th one, I was like, wait a minute, this is consistent. This is something that can happen. And with a negative EV game, playing for comps, especially with craps or whatever, just playing for comps, especially like in Vegas, just was not worth it. So I never thought about playing for comps. Like, you spend thousands to win hundreds of dollars, maybe a buffet, right? But then you go on a cruise, and I found that I was spending hundreds of dollars, just bringing a couple $100, and I was getting thousands of dollars worth of comps with this cruise and all the food included, the entertainment. And I thought, wait, this is like a reverse. It makes sense to kind of build a strategy around comps. So that's been like, what, 5 years now?
Yeah.
Cruising once a month.
That's amazing. Wow. So I saw a video of some lady who actually lives on cruise ships now. Like, she literally gambles and hops from ship to ship. That's all she does. She just goes from, she might have a hotel for a night, but she's like, it's cheaper. Even if I lose on a cruise or two, it's still cheaper than having my house. She's like 50 something years old and lost her husband. That's what she does. I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah. I think the thing is, for people that were paying full price for a cruise, like, that would be cruising anyway. Imagine the value they're gaining out of this. And there's been a lot of channels within the last couple months. It's like, when I first started, I was doing craps and cruising and then comps. But now there's just so many content creators that are talking about free cruises by gambling in the casino.
Yep.
And a lot of them, unfortunately, and I have a video coming out, because unfortunately, they're okay paying. I always say, don't bring more than what the cruise costs. And if you lose it all, you just prepay for the cruise. They're okay prepaying for the cruise because they were going to pay full price anyway. And for me, and I think our viewers were like, hey, I can't afford to spend $2,000 extra per month just to be on a 1-week cruise. But they're like, this is a great deal.
Yeah, you gotta. So, like, it's funny because my goal going into this thing, and again, thanks to you for kind of that statement, by the way, like spending thousands to win hundreds versus spending hundreds to win thousands. That's like is that a T-shirt you have? You have to copy out a T-shirt somewhere.
I should have a T-shirt. Yeah,
that's like the best.
It'll have to have an
ever.
R in it somehow. It'll have to have the R.
All the R's
around it.
All the R's bracketed. But it's such a way to look at it. So this cruise, we basically broke even. Like, I think, we both got our free one. So next cruise will be free for me, and because, you both get your room and a guest. so we can take two people with us, which is great. We also, I know that there's consternation about this, but I'm an over tipper big time. So we probably tipped. I think I tipped my waiter and the assistant waiter like $100 each. We have our room guy $100. I gave the dealers at two different tables $100 each. I gave the drink guy $100, the bartender $100. You know, like so we tend to spread it around pretty good. So after all that, I think we ended up about even. We didn't. I didn't walk off that boat with more money than I came. Maybe I might be down a couple $100 off of what I brought, including tips, which I'm okay with. But man,
Yeah.
it was the biggest grind this time, unlike before. Every cruise I've done before has been very easy. Couple days in, you're at about 1,000 points. You know, day 3, you get over the 1,500, and then it's just kind of let's have some fun and see what happens. This one, it took till day 4 at like 2 in the morning before I got the 1,500. It took forever, and I had to beg for it.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
it was brutal. The craps. Here's what the craps people told me, and this was on Royal, so I gotta call it the cruise line. There were no real pit bosses. There was nobody boxing the table. The craps. It was only the dealers. So the dealers would type in every once in a while. Like if somebody new came in, they would type that guy's stuff in. Maybe look around and type your stuff in. So it was the first bet you ever made. Seemed to be the one that mattered. Nothing else ever changed. So if I came in, I was playing the horseman most of the time, $50 on the don't and free $25 bets. I upped it to 100 and 50 after a couple days to try and accelerate it. And they almost never wrote it down. I would get only credit for my don't bet, never the come bets, because they just didn't write. They didn't have time to evaluate anything.
Yeah.
There was no box person. There was no pit boss running around checking things out. It was dealer only. And the table was so crowded and it was so many new players. And I think you did a video on this a month or two ago, maybe more than that, about the quality of play from people. And typically you're not getting your best gamblers on a cruise ship, right? They're mostly going to be hammered. They're mostly going to be newbies. They just didn't know what they were doing. And the game was so slow. And so the one dealer told me that the comps are down because the game is too slow. So they you know it's your average bet size by the EV times rolls per hour. Well, if our rolls per hour were in the 30s, sometimes in the 20s, it was so slow.
Yeah.
They cut the comps by 2/3. So your $50 bet was counting as 12 or $14 if the table was slow because there was too many newbies on it. And I'm like, how am I ever going to get any points out of this at all? The one night I earned like 79 points the first night. It was crazy.
I think that's a common misperception that we've always said, and they'll tell you this too. They'll say, "Oh, it's about average bet and how long you play." That's what they say.
It's
And
not.
a lot of people, I don't know if it's their strategy because they think they're getting more points the longer they are. But I've been at a table where people, they'll have to stop and check the camera or whatever. And people are like, "Oh, that's fine with me because I'm getting points while I'm standing here." I'm like, "We ain't getting points unless those dice are moving." And
Totally.
so I think that's a common misperception that people might try to purposely slow down the game so that they can gain comps, but they're really not. It does have to do with rolls per hour.
Yeah, this was not people doing it on purpose. Like, it's like this is people not understanding how bets paid and where my stuff is, and and then you get because of that you get negative Nelly screaming at the dealers, and you end up with like the one guy besides me who knows how to play getting pissed off at all the newbies, and
Right.
and then it's a whole thing. And boy, craps was the worst this time. It was the worst game this time to get points on.
Let me give
Like,
you a little.
yeah,
So one thing you said, something that a lot of people don't know. So you said there was no pit boss around, and there was only dealers doing
yeah.
typing in the stuff. Sometimes, and a lot of times on these ships, you'll have supervisors. Every cruise they rotate, and so they're in a jacket one cruise, the next cruise they're a dealer. And if you ever
Mm.
see them typing in stuff, that they are technically a pit boss. They're just in dealer clothes, maybe because they're shorthanded.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, a regular dealer won't be typing in, even though they look like a regular dealer because they're dressed that way. If they're typing it in, the next cruise, they're probably in a jacket.
Because I felt
Yeah,
like
that's
everybody,
something to know.
I felt like they all did that. Like, for example, like where I got my best comps, by the way, and you mentioned this in a video last week, I wish I would have watched it earlier, was roulette. Roulette, I crushed the comps in roulette. I actually played more roulette this time than craps. Like, I turned around and played so much of that because at least there you can hedge your way out of everything. You can have, $250 on the felt and have like zero risk. And as long as you got big stacks of chips, they don't seem to care. But again, I bought in, playing my thing, and actually won a lot of money at roulette. I hit a couple of miracles in roulette. It was super fun. I was showing my son like this stupid ass play where you do 2 dozens, and like in the third dozen, you surround a number. I'm like, look, I'm gonna take all the 20 chips I got. We're gonna go $2 straight up, and I got everything around it, and I just piled all these chips up. I hit it twice on the nose. And he's like, that looks so easy. I'm like, it's not that easy, Zach. Like,
oh, that's all you have to do.
Right.
Just pick the right number.
But I took all that and I stacked up the dozens and I stacked up, other stuff. At the end, when I colored up, she colored me up and then typed a bunch of stuff in. And that was how she did it. I never got like the credit during play. It was after I was done. She typed it in. And I think she was remembering the last set of bets that I had that were huge. And that's why roulette worked so well. Blackjack is consistent. It's a $25 table. There was no $10 tables or anything. This was only 25s on blackjack. So that was easy. You can calculate blackjack all day long, and that was fair comps.
Well, when I did my top three, a few months ago, video poker would have been like number 2.
Yeah.
But they went from $5 per point to $15 per point.
Yeah, can you explain that? Can you explain the cash in concept to everybody here? Because that was, my wife didn't understand. I was trying to explain it to her, and maybe you can do a better job.
Yeah, so on slot machines, every $5 that you put through a slot machine equals 1 point. And it was $10. Sorry, I misspoke. It was $10 for video poker. Every $10 that went through video poker machine. So once you bet $10, you get 1 point. Well, because of the paybacks and the pay, there was the pay boards weren't that good, and then they switched them, so everybody was really happy. They're like, "Whoa, they have good payouts on video poker now." But then they went to $15 per 1 point. So to give you an example, if you're playing slots, you can bring $1,500, for example, and you'll probably, because of payback, you'll probably get about 1,500 points, just coin in and coin out. But 1,500 points through a slot machine is $7,500. So you can say all I brought was 1,500, but you can't lie to that slot machine. You put $7,500 through the machine to get your $2,000 cruise.
Right. By rebetting your wins and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, rebet. Yeah, because of the payback and stuff like that. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things. Like on my video, I said, if you really want to do this, don't play slots. But there are people that, I mean, they're playing slots for the jackpot. And if they hit the jackpot, congratulations, you get a free cruise. Because a lot of people can pay for it at that point. But this is the thing, and I say this in the video, most people, you see them hit $10,000 jackpot, and they're like, they're not celebrating. I'm like, why aren't they celebrating? Well, I just came to the realization after talking with a few people, they won their money back. That's why they're not celebrating. Or they're planning to just put it back through. So they're like, oh, now I have money to put it back through. And so it is a scary, if you're not disciplined, it is a scary trap to fall into, that I'm going to be buying points in order to get a cruise, because normally and most likely you're overpaying for the cruise when you do that.
Totally. So what's interesting is you say that my son's girlfriend did pretty well. So and part of Kathy's problem this time, by the way, was video poker. She's normally a max better. So max bet gets the coin in pretty fast, right? This time because we had family, she gave my daughter $100. She gave Malia $100, and they were sitting all three in a row. And so Kathy's betting, one or two coin, not max bet, while they're playing, and she's teaching them how to play. So she slowed her game down a little bit, which I think was part of the problem, and her bet sizing down. But Malia won like $400 twice on video poker, and I said, put those tickets in your pocket, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning, go to Next Cruise. Like, take that right to Next Cruise and get your discounted deposit in. Don't give it back. Like, if you're going to cruise again, and they want to go with us next year to Alaska, go right now. Just go right downstairs on floor 5, hit the Next Cruise office, and get yourself booked. And that way you're not tempted to kind of do what you're talking about, throw it all back in the machine.
Yeah, and so you were saying that you just didn't really get rated good
It's awful.
on craps, of course, because it was slow. But I think a lot of times, I could be wrong, but I think Royal Caribbean made a conscious decision in the last round, meaning around March of every year, they kind of make changes because April 1st begins the new cycle for their year-long cycle. And I think they made a conscious decision to say, hey, we're going to reward our higher players because the lower players are lower players. So like as far as low bankroll or just people that kind of play a little bit. And I think you can see when you look at the like prime is 2,500 points within that year, and you get convenience fee waived when you charge to your room. You get an annual cruise to choose from, which is an interior, and you get free drinks while you're in the casino with Royal Caribbean. And that used to be, hey, if we could just get prime, that we're set. But now it's like prime, okay, yeah, you get all that stuff, but a lot of times that the cruise for one, that or the interior, a lot of the certificates are cruise for one, they're interiors, and they're interiors for only like 4 or 3 nights, not 7 nights anymore. So a lot of that went down. And it has to do with mainly, a lot of people would say, Brian, you're the reason. And
I was going to say, is it your fault?
all those other YouTubers that are talking about this, they screwed us. But really, cruising in general has went way up. So look at the stock of Royal Caribbean, or at least people that are cruising nowadays. I don't think they need to be so like generous because they're selling out cruises. And now when you get a cruise offer, like you should probably book it within a couple days because that's what people are doing and they're selling out. Like I just got Masters, which I wasn't trying for Masters, but that's 100,000 points in a year. And that's the highest level with Royal Caribbean to be a master, a master player. And I cruised, my wife and I, we cruised about 150 nights, and I had a couple transatlantics. So those are where you could get a lot of points, even though you're only getting like 300 or 500 a night, pretty much. If you get like 300 a night, it adds up over time. So I got to 100,000. And they put out this Masters cruise, which they give you $1,000 worth of free play. They give you a gift. They have events every night.
Oh, cool.
And there's 3 dates to choose from. So this offer comes out, and I'm like, oh, that's great. I think the next day I called, and they're like, yeah, it's all sold. It's all booked up. It's all sold out. I'm like, wait, you guys are doing an event for your Masters players, your highest players, and you don't even have enough cabins for all of us to be on a cruise or 3 cruises or whatever. And so, there's definitely, it's like first come, first serve. Like they're not really as generous as they used to be. That's all. I say that long story to tell you that.
Yeah, but
and,
it's true.
Unfortunately, you went in expecting to get the points that you normally get for the same kind of play. It's just not happening anymore. So that's why I did a video where I changed my strategy, where I'm trying to play higher because that seems to be, you got to get more points now.
Yeah, I think what happened when I kind of, I don't want to say that I chased it, but I was getting I was getting to the point where I have enough money to do it. So I was doing the $100 horseman, right? So it's 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 two and a quarter or 250 in, right? At at Baccarat or at roulette, I was 50-50 on the dozens plus inside betting, right? So I was up over 150 bucks a spin on roulette most of the time I was there. I even tried to play Baccarat, and I couldn't play Baccarat at all. I was telling the story yesterday. I'm not sure if you heard it or not, but
Yeah,
Baccarat,
yeah, I heard.
dude, there was this guy. He had so much money. He was sitting there. He had a permanent ass print in this one chair at the table. He bought in for 10K the first night, and he was betting $500 $1,000 a hand, right? And he was rubbing the screen, and he had his little rubber duckies, and he had all the stuff, right? And he was like having the dealer rub his little duck thing in his hand, and it was 15 minutes between hands, and they didn't care because he had $2,000 out there, and to them,
Wow.
if we're all betting $25 a hand, five people, his $2,000 four hands a shoe is better money for them than us betting minimum 40 hands a shoe, right? So and
Yeah.
I'm sitting there with $50 or $25 depending on I'm like just sitting there waiting for this idiot to say it's okay to deal, and he was like literally saying, "Okay, I'm ready." He put his money on
Oh
banker,
my goodness.
literally, and it was like they waited for him to put his money up before they would deal any cards, and he kind of bought the table. And normally
Yeah.
Baccarat is a pretty good 50-50. You're going to tie most of the time. You can bet $100 a hand and you'll be fine. Not on this cruise. I'm like, I walked away. I couldn't
Yeah.
do it. And he was a nice guy. He was a software developer. He's a cool dude. But I'm like, I can't play with you. Just, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm here to do a job tonight. You know what I mean? So,
Well, and even him, I mean, if he was playing a couple things, so like, speaking of the bridge, if he was playing to earn a free cruise and he bought in for 10,000 or 20,000, over like he's already out of that like discipline, I think, if he
mhm.
was playing for comps. But
He
if
was
he
not.
was playing,
Yeah.
okay. If he was, I was gonna say, you want to speed that game up. Like every game, you want it to be as fast as possible. Now, I
Yeah.
think sometimes blackjack for me is just too fast. I don't want to go that fast. Come on.
Mhm.
But I think any game that pays even money, the negative EV is too, you can't overcome on even money. Even if
Right.
you do get a blackjack, I don't think you can overcome the negative EV. You really have
Yeah.
to fluctuate your bets. Like I know is like the 1-3-2-4 kind of betting style where you're
Right.
taking your profits and then you're like, that's the only way you could really overcome those flat money bets.
It is. And that's why Baccarat is the game I do that with for the most part. Blackjack I played
Yeah.
with this. I just enjoy blackjack. And it's actually a better house edge than Baccarat is from that standpoint, but you got to catch the
Yeah.
runs. But yeah, it was just interesting how I really had to fight this time to get it. I'm like, man, you can just feel the squeeze. And like you said, getting on a cruise now is not like it used to be. They're building those icons class ships one after another. They just
Yeah.
right, and it's like they're putting 9,000 people on a boat, and I'm like, oh my gravy, like that's so much. Think about that, like how many people, and again, I hate to say it, this is God forgive me, the quality of people on these ships in general is not what it used to be. Like the gambling quality is so low, but just in general, people are so unaware of their surroundings. Like you have to be when you guys,
Yeah.
if you haven't cruised before, be ready for people being unaware that anybody else is on that ship but them. And you're just like
Yeah.
dodging you're dodging idiots all day long, and the tables are full of people who are literally sunburned and drunk from drinking from all day drinking, and they're just at the tables making a mess of things and like not getting it.
Yeah, I used to tell people, "Hey, if you wanna try cruising, just do a 3 or 4 night just to kinda try it."
Yep.
But I feel like nowadays, if people did that, the party atmosphere, I mean, some people like to have the weekend party, but it's not cruising. It's something totally different, in my opinion. And
100%.
so now I'm telling people, "Hey, if you wanna try cruising, make sure not to do a 3 or 4 night. Get at least a 6 night or higher, and then that way you kinda people do party and people take advantage of the drink package. I mean, after all, it
Sure.
is really expensive, but they're trying to get their money's worth. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like you're not going to have a perpetual party for 4 days straight. And I feel bad for the dealers sometimes, or the crew, that are on those ships that are just doing the party or the booze cruise. Imagine
Hmm.
their 6 month or 8 month contract that they're in a perpetual party for 6 months. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine so I feel
Totally.
for them.
Well, it's funny. I'd heard that before. This is our first ever 4 day cruise. I've always only done week long cruises. So the first 4 day cruise I've been on, literal party atmosphere. There was people wearing not a whole lot and staggering around the whole ship the whole time. And the casino was a like a laser on that. And I wonder if that was part of like why the comps were, why the ratings I felt were down, why there wasn't that much attention being paid because they're like, these people all paid, $600 to be on here, and we're not going to get a lot of money out of them. Where the Alaska cruise was more of a serious older crowd. There was hardly any kids in the Alaska cruise, much older crowd, and the gambling was very serious. And like we all
Yeah.
were, it was like more of like a more camaraderie on that ship than this one, which was a. Now, to be fair, there were people on that ship that I had a lot of fun with. There were some people at the craps table that I
Yeah.
think I'll be friends with for a while. We exchanged emails and stuff that were fun, but at the same time, it's like, you know, like the 11th time, you cannot just place a $10 six. They won't allow it. And for the love of God, just stop banging the dice on the table. And then bitch, like they don't allow it anymore. You can't bang the dice, which is a weird rule. And people get so mad. Then they're yelling at the dude, and then they start throwing them, and they're off the table. And it was like, my God, like, are we? Is this like a toddler game or what? It
Well,
was really
yeah,
an eye
I
opener.
at this
Yeah,
point at this point I try to view it all as entertainment, and I
yeah.
started a series called Tales from the Table because there is some unbelievable stuff, but
Oh yeah.
you kind of have to know going into it that okay, and
Mm-hmm.
I always say between 12 or sorry, 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, it's like the freaks come out at night.
Big
The
time.
freaks come out at night. It's like
Yep.
crazy hour, so I know that I change my play during those hours,
Yeah.
basically, if I'm at the table. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I like to open the table and close the table on craps. I found that on the cruise ship, I have better luck, or not better luck is the wrong word, but a better time when I'm there right at 6:30 or whatever they open it up
Hmm.
and do the first couple that when it fills up, I'm out. And then at one
Yeah.
o'clock, when all the freaks go to bed, I'll close it down for the last hour and have some John time. The rest of the night, I kind of bounce. And I think this goes to what Ken from Ken Knows Gambling talks about all the time is having more than one game. You can't just be a craps player. You got to have blackjack and bach and roulette in your toolkit. So you can bounce to other games confidently and play at the levels you need to play at to earn that comp.
Yeah. And I think for me, obviously playing craps on a cruise to earn a free cruise, I thought about doing other games because a lot of times they're like, "Hey, you should expand to the whole casino, and then you can improve your subscriptions and people that are
Yeah.
involved in all kinds of stuff." But really, I mean, and you know this, any game that you have to bet once for one result and then bet again for one result and just have to keep rebetting. I mean, that's when I see people do that in the field, they'll take their money and just put it in the field. It's like you're turning craps into every other game in this casino with
Right.
one result. And so I'm really leaning into the, putting my money out there, letting multiple rolls go by. I'm trying to get out of the hand. There was a time where I was like, I'm going to try to get out of the hand in 2 hits. Now I'm like, whatever I have after 2 rolls, I'm going to just use that
Right.
because, you never know. You go
Mm,
the 6 and 8 and the outside hits, you go inside and they're rolling horns,
yeah.
things like that happen. But so for me, I, I think I spent all of last year, every point that I got was on craps. I didn't play any other games. Except for at the end, when I got to Masters, I told Amber, "Hey, I'm only a couple points away." she was at a slot machine. She grabbed my card and put money in the slot machine and said, "You're master. We got you there."
That's
But
awesome.
other than that, I exclusively did craps because I wanted to see what it would take, how much would it
Hmm.
cost,
Sure.
um, and and like I said, any kind of even bet and the fact that you have to bet over and over, it's too hard to overcome the negative EV of the game, the negative
Yeah.
expected value. So one thing that I do that I think is a little bit different, and you kind of gave an overall like picture of your how much you spent. And I think a lot of times people they use their bankroll, but they don't use the flights, the flights that they had to pay for to get there, the
Hmm.
the travel or the Uber or
Right.
any excursions that they paid for. It can get really expensive. So one thing that I've been doing over the last couple years is I've been bulking my bankroll and my total cost together. So if I say, "Oh, it cost me 500 for this cruise," even though it's a free cruise, it cost me 500. That has to do with the total cost. Because I think a
Yeah.
lot of times people are saying, "Oh, I want a free, or I earned a free cruise, and I only lost 2,000 in the casino." Well, that's
Yeah.
not a free cruise,
Right.
you know. And then of course they flew there and so
Sure.
I like to think of the total package. And so I would challenge people like when when they're thinking about their bankroll, also think about the cost, whether it's going
Hmm.
to a land base or Vegas or whatever. I don't think a lot of the casinos are flying people in anymore. Like, hey, we'll
No,
cover your airfare.
the junkets
Like,
junkets are hard to get to. So what
yeah,
Kathy and I do, and I think I've said this before, but Kathy and I do, we're big Dave Ramsey fans, by the way. So I got like 7 bank accounts. One of our bank accounts is literally called our fun account, and we each put
yeah,
100, 200, whatever excess we have from the month, our monthly expenses, we stick it in the fun account, and it sits there all year long. It earns in it's a high yield savings account. It just earns interest all year long, but that's our flight money. So when we go
yeah,
anywhere, that's rental of the car, that's the Uber, that's the flight. Uber's account is tied to that debit card. That's the account for Uber, right? And our
yeah.
flights, we use that card because it's got the airline 10x miles on it. So that's our airline card. So everything that
Nice.
we do excess goes into that one account all year long. So this cruise didn't cost us a thing in terms of travel because I mean, it cost you, but we planned for it ahead of time. So it wasn't like, we drained a savings account or drained our checking account to do it. We prepay all that stuff all year long. And
Yeah.
that's how we do it. So I don't consider the cost of the flight or the rentals as part of like you're doing because we kind of make sure we have that. The cruise money that I try to earn in the casino, we tried to earn basically trying to earn tip money. I want to make sure that the people are
Yeah.
taken care of. So to me, tipping 400 or 500 bucks each, me and Kathy, collectively, was a smart move. Maybe. I mean, I felt good about it. We didn't take the money home with us, but like we could have. But I felt like it was the right thing to do because the people are busting their asses out there. So
Yeah. And if you can break even, which you pretty close to break
pretty
even,
close to
right?
yeah,
I mean,
a little down, but yeah,
yeah, I
we
mean,
yeah.
that's a great experience. That's a
Mm-hmm.
great cost. All the value and the memories and the
Mm-hmm.
experience that you had to be able to tip
Yeah.
the dealers and pay for everything that got paid for and not feel like, okay, now I have to try to save up again or whatever. If
Right.
it's just part of the routine and it's partly happening, I know you're thinking about doing like two, maybe three cruises a
A
year.
year.
And
Right.
I know you said two, but I'm saying maybe
It'll
three.
be it'll be three.
but and a lot of people that are on those cruises that we see that are going up and just lighting money on fire, they do it once a year, so they have a
Yeah.
whole year to recover. but
Right.
but for a lot of the cruisers that are consistent, I mean, if we have to recover, we have 1 month, or we're on back to back. So we have we split our, we got
Hmm.
this week and next week and then the next month, uh it is different when you cruise more often as far as your style and your play. And that's why I think the
Right.
bridge is so important, because it makes it even more important when you're in an environment like a cruise where you can do an excursion for $600 tomorrow and the next day if you wanted
Yeah.
to, so those are the kind of things I think the bankroll or the wins
Hmm.
can pay for that kind of stuff.
For sure.
So that, that's what I do with, if I have a good night, at the table, then all of a sudden, like you said before, I'm making sure to get that next cruise booking. I'm maybe going in by the gold by the inch place, and I'm getting a
Hmm.
a, a nice lanyard.
There you go. Yep.
And like I'm doing
Yeah.
something, and I think Wager Me This, talks about that a lot. If you're going to win something, do something special for yourself. and
100%.
uh and
I
that's what
love that.
that's
Yeah.
kind
I
of
love that.
yeah, that's kind of what I do with my earnings. And
Yeah.
so yeah, we tip the dealers, or we tip. And a lot of times tipping the dealers, money's great, but sometimes, when you tip money, it splits between everybody. Sometimes just when you're at a port, grabbing some stuff to give to all the dealers, some candy.
Oh, okay.
They don't get a lot of chocolate, so chocolate is a very valuable commodity on a cruise for the dealers.
I
So
hadn't
I
thought of
always try
that.
to,
That's a great idea. That's a
yeah,
great
grabbing
idea. Okay.
chocolate and giving out chocolate to everyone. And so making their life better, not just financially, but with that kind of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff you
Dude,
can,
that's
yeah,
fantastic. I had never thought of that. That's fantastic. Next to the
yeah,
next stop. I'm writing that down. That's beautiful because that is a life-changing little thing. Because they're in those little tiny
yeah,
bunkers and they don't yeah, that's a great idea.
yeah. Something
That's awesome.
consumable. Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
cool.
consumable is
All right.
a great gift for a dealer.
Very
So
cool. Yeah, you have time for a couple of questions before we take off?
yes, yeah, I
Cool.
have all the time you need. I know
Good.
you're the one on the, you could probably see I'm in my office here for
You're in
the
your
summer.
office.
Yeah, so I don't cruise much during the summer. I love Colorado, and we have 5 acres up in the mountains, so we do some long-term camping during the summer, and it's
Cool.
just great weather. And so yeah, I'm not on a time limit. I know you've
All
got to
right.
get going, but
Yeah. So the one question came from Victor, and I think this is important for everybody to understand. How many points do you actually need for the free cruise? How much of a buy-in average bet do you need? Craps versus slots, and you can talk about the different levels of free cruises. And I think as an automatic follow-up, if you don't earn the points on the ship, you will still get cruise offers in your actual snail mail.
yeah, it's not guaranteed, but and I always told people don't count on it, but they do come. They do
Hmm.
come. And so the what I do is, before I go on a cruise, and a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually look up the cruise offers per points before you go. Some people could do it the first night, right when you get there. You go to the casino host desk, and they'll have a list, and usually it's around 600 points, 800 points, 1200 points, 1500 points. And it just, and every level you're earning a free cruise, but it's a list to choose from. So imagine, before you go on a cruise, you're able to get access to this cruise list, and you can look at the $600 or 600 point list and see if there's a cruise on it that you want.
Hmm.
Well, then, hey, I got 600 points. I could get that over the cruise, over the time of the cruise. Um, and of course, when you go up to another level, there's more cruises to choose from. And maybe some are cruise for one, some are cruise for two. So I always say, find out what your target is, and I know you do too. What is your purpose here? What are you
Hmm.
going to be doing? And so find out what your cruise target is, so you know what your point target is, and then you can have a disciplined approach to earning that cruise.
So you were talking about being a master. That's more of a Casino Royale thing on Royal. The Royal cruise points, do those ever expire? I know that your casino ratings do expire, but your Crown and Anchor Society points ever expire?
Yeah, so there's two kind of loyalty systems. There is what's with Royal Caribbean, for example. There's what's called Club Royale. and you earn points when you play. And then there's what's called Crown and Anchor Society, and you earn points when you stay. So on average, one night equals 1 point. And that's lifetime with Royal Caribbean.
Okay.
I know, I think it's a Carnival just kind of changed their system where it's going away. Like everything they thought they worked for a lifetime is now ending. And
Ooh,
so, of course, things can change all the time. But right now, uh, the Crown and Anchor points or the nights spent cruising on Royal Caribbean um, don't expire. So we have, I think we have like 400 and something nights that my wife and I have done over the course of these years. So we're at what's called Diamond Plus, and the next level, which is the top level, it's called Pinnacle, is 700 points. So we're a little bit over halfway there after
wow.
5 years.
That's
So
insane.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but the perks, you get perks at each level as you go up, and so that's for Crown and Anchor. Now, when you play in the casino with Royal Caribbean, it's what you can earn between April 1st and March 31st of the following year. So if you go on one cruise and get 1,000 points, you'll get 1,000 point certificate for a free cruise. But those 1,000 points stay there until the March 31st of the following year. So let's say you go on another cruise and you get 1,500 points. Now you have 2,500 points total. But when you're on that cruise where you got the 1,500 points, you earn another certificate. But when you get 2,500 points combined in that year, you get an annual cruise to choose from. So technically, out of those two cruises and you won the two certificates, you get a
A
third
third.
cruise, an annual cruise. And then what you were talking about before, not to mention any offers that they send you after that. And I
Yeah.
think the value in this, and I think this is where a lot of people have to think, am I going to be a cruising person? Do I enjoy cruising enough to do this? Because where the real value comes is to be able to take advantage of the offers. Because
Hmm.
John, I know you get a lot more offers than you're taking. And
Yes.
so imagine the when you think of negative EV, if you played 300 $500 or whatever, it's almost like you can have unlimited cruising, John. But
Hmm.
what is the thing? You can't take them all. You can't do all the
Right.
cruises. So this is a great deal for people that are retired or that can work from anywhere. Um,
Hmm.
as long as they have an internet connection, or they don't need a very fast or good internet connection, but they can,
Man.
work from anywhere.
Yep.
And so this is a great deal for them, and that's why you have these people. They're like, they can work from anywhere, or and they're like, you know what, this is a great deal. I mean, the offers for them, if you can take advantage of it, is amazing.
Yeah, I'll tell you the offer I wish they would put out there is free freaking internet because that internet is so expensive. $30 a
Well, let
day.
me
I
tell
mean,
you.
my gosh, you know.
So 2,500 points might seem like a lot if
Hmm.
you cruise, and I think it is a lot if you cruise only twice a year. 25,000 points. Okay, so I averaged about 2,500 points. This was a couple years ago. I averaged 2,500 points per cruise, and the dog is really happy about that. I don't know if you can hear the dog.
I can hear.
Um, the, I averaged 2,500 points per cruise, and I happened to cruise 10 times. Well, I wasn't shooting for 2,500 points. I was just shooting for the certificate to try to get
Right.
like a 2,000 or 3,000 certificate. But then all of a sudden, I'm what's called signature, which is their next level. Signature at 2,500 points comes with free internet.
See, now that's a goal right there.
I think it is, if
I
now
mean,
remember, if you're cruising enough to
yeah.
make it work for you.
Yeah.
If you're only cruising once or twice a year, the amount of money that you'd have to play to earn that internet might not be worth it. But
It,
for
it it's
me,
it's just so expensive. The internet is so expensive. You have to almost budget for it because the app is
yeah,
so
and I
bad
mean, we're
and the
talking
Yeah.
Yeah. When you say expensive, I mean, we're talking $30 a day,
A
you
day.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, a day. So, so yeah, once I got to signature, so that's my new like bottom. I don't want to be lower than signature because the internet is the key. So when you
Hmm.
have internet and you have free drinks, and then when you get that, we talked about Crown and Anchor Society. When you get to Diamond, which I think is like 80 nights, you get 4 free drinks a day anywhere in on
Okay.
the ship. So you don't have to get the drink package anymore because the drink package is another big expense because you can't
Hmm.
just buy one. You have to buy a drink package
Two.
for everybody that's in your cabin. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so a drink package is usually around $1,000, or more.
Yeah.
And that's why I think people are trying to get their money's worth.
100%. If you buy the drink package, you're going to be sloshed all the time. All right, a couple more questions for you here. This is from Texas Dicer. Are you getting good comps on the cruises now? So does the Icon class get better or worse? Have you found that the bigger, newer ships are tighter, or is it pretty
Um,
consistent?
I think there's a huge difference in the 3 and 4 night cruises and the 6 and plus. So the 5 night cruises is like a hit or miss, right in the middle, the 5 night. But once you get to above 6 night, 7 night, uh, not only do you have more time to accumulate points and to build relationships with the dealers, I think you can. I think those are the better cruises to go on. If you're trying to get points on a 3 or 4 night cruise, I don't think that's a good strategy at all.
You got to
Yeah,
bang it. You got to bang it so hard on those four nighters. It just there's not enough
yeah.
time.
But
You know.
so as far as the newer cruise ships, really it has to do with your relationship with the dealers at the table games or the pit bosses. And so, you mentioned when you were on roulette that after you colored up, they typed in a bunch of stuff. What they probably typed in was, yes, they typed in what your buy-in was and what you colored up with, but they probably put in your average bet. And that can happen. It's all about your average bet. And before you check out, like at craps, you need to make sure, hey, what do you have me in for my average bet? Because after they check you out, they cannot change it. And a lot of times you were saying you weren't getting properly rated and there wasn't somebody there. That's why I try to stay away from moving bets that are moving, because they don't really know whose was that, whose is that,
Right.
whose is that. And they're not typing it in all the time. Sometimes they'll sit down, they'll type in, and then they'll walk away, right? And so any kind of betting that you did, they weren't recording. And
Yeah.
so I always try to negotiate my average. So I say, hey, I get to know them, I meet them, and I say, hey, I'm gonna be playing $100 a shooter. If you want to just put in 100 and leave it, I'll be fine. If you'll be fine. And a lot of times they're like, okay, I'm fine, $100 per shooter. And then I go 44 inside. No, I'm just playing. But the point is you try to negotiate. So I think that's the hardest part, because some people do not, like the pit bosses, they do not want to negotiate. Because, and the main thing is they don't know you. So the candy bars, the tips for the dealers, the buying in and say, hey, go ahead and drop this for the dealers as we start. I'm going to be
Hmm.
playing at $100 level. Can you just put me in for $100 level? It's almost like bribery, but it's putting your best foot forward to say, hey, I'm
Hmm.
here to earn a cruise. I'm here to take care of you. You take care of me, I take care of you. But a lot of times that could come off kind of rude, like,
Yeah.
because it's like, hey, what's my average? Like, that's one question that they
Hmm.
hate to hear, because then everybody starts asking. And
That's
it
right.
doesn't matter what it is, we're all upset about it, right? It's like, what's my average? Your average is 88. What? I have
What?
110. What's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah. Well, God forbid you start at 110 and you regress. Because I found that on the first night, that's what they were doing to me. I was at 110, I would regress down, be at 44, and then kind of build from there. The 40 was my average bet, over 20 rolls an hour. And I'm like, you got to
Yeah.
be kidding me, right? And like, I did risk
Right. Right.
$110. I'm not going to play 110 and shoot for the moon. And yeah, that kind of ticked me off a little bit. I was like, that's just not how this
Well,
should work.
that's
So
that's why I
yeah,
would rather do hybrid, and put out my hybrids bets, like whether I'm laying something or playing the don't pass and the light side. And then I will say, okay, based on this, what are you rating me at? And then I know I'm only risking a certain amount. And so I can have a lot of money out there. Hopefully they'll
yeah,
meet me in the middle. And if they'll meet me in the middle, I'm happy with that. Just put it in and leave it. Here we go.
yeah. I'd
Um,
rather know ahead of time and just execute than guess the
yeah,
entire
yeah.
time, right? So, all right,
Yeah, I
one more
hope that
question for
answered
you.
that question.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah. All right, this is from Biff Helms. So how do you handle? This is a general craps question, but how do you handle walking into a long roll? So you walk up to the table. This happens all the time. Somebody's on a 20, 30 roller, and you're standing there, right? Are you betting into that? You waiting to get into it? Like, what is your approach?
Yeah, that's a great question because there's a lot of different advice and a lot of different what we call etiquette about it. If I went up to a table and there was a long roll and I was trying to get in, I would wait for them to hit the point. Okay, so wait for the puck is off. And here's where I think I differ from other people, because most people, they think they're being polite when they wait for the puck to be off. And especially if the 7 out comes, that's an easy time to enter. The puck is off, now you can enter. But a lot of times when people are going on a long roll, they hit the point and the puck goes off. Then you see somebody buy in for 5,000, 6,000. It's like, wait, you're not going to use that money on this shooter right now. So what I would do is, if they hit the point and the puck went off, I would buy in with what I'm going to use. So $200. Give me my money as quick as possible. Don't
Mm-hmm.
don't put out all my 5,000 or $1,000 and count it and have to get it dropped and have to get it all checked. A lot of people don't realize that most dealers can give you money as long as it's below $300. If it's above 300, they have to get it all checked and call over somebody, and you're stopping the game. So sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter if they're on a long roll and they hit their point and you buy in for more than $300. I think, in my opinion, that's just like buying in when the puck is on, because you're stopping the game.
Yeah.
So I know that's a little bit different. It might be kind of harsh, but I'm just saying buy in for less than 300 and use that money to play so that you're not slowing down the game.
Well,
So that's
I
does that answer that question?
it does, and I actually take it a step further. I always carry four greens. In my little, you've seen my little craps wallet that I carry around, has my lammers in it and all that shit. I always have four greens in that wallet all the time. When I color up, I get four greens, and I keep them in there so
Yeah.
that if there's a spot on a table that's going crazy, I can belly up to it and drop my greens out there and get me, whatever I'm going to do. Give me a 66 inside or whatever it's going to be, just so I can hop into
Yeah.
the roll without no buy-in. Just take a spot and throw actual chips out there like I was there the whole time. And that's a non-interruptive way to
Yeah.
kind of get into a game. On a cruise ship, it's easy because the first night you grab four greens and stash them.
Yeah.
The whole rest of the cruise, I've got those four greens in my pocket that I can buy with
Right.
anytime I want to and never interrupt a game. In Vegas, it's not as easy because you're going, house to house and that kind of thing. But if you can do it, have chips. There's a no interruption way to do it. And I think that's an etiquette thing that 99% of people don't think of, that is to just
Well,
be ready to play.
it depends on the speed of the game too. There was
Mhm.
one where the game was going so fast, even if I did drop down my 200, it would have slowed it down. All I
Yeah,
did was I turned the person next to me and said, "Hey, can I get 100 from you?"
there you go.
They gave me 100 at the rack, and then I bet, because I didn't even want the dealers to. I didn't want to put my money down or my card
Yeah.
down, because it was moving so fast. And I know it's all superstition, but it's only superstition because it happens, right? And it's etiquette. It's just being polite. Some people don't care. And it's like, hey, we're all in the same team. And I know you say this a lot. We're all in the same team. It doesn't matter if I'm dark side, light side, hybrid. We're all in the same team. We're all
Mm-hmm.
trying to win from the casino. And that's hard to do. So we need to work together
Yeah.
as much as possible.
100%. And the side note is, if you're going to buy in mid roll, you had better put a bet down. especially if you're playing with
Oh,
Jeff. If you're playing with Jeff from Atlanta Craps, you buying mid roll and you don't bet, you're getting dice in the face. he's
oh,
gonna.
how many times? How
I
many
hate that.
times? It's like, okay, you bought in, go ahead. Oh no, I don't want to bet. I don't want to bet.
Like, come
It's
on.
like, what?
Yeah.
And then I see people, this is even worse. They feel pressured. The point is already established. They bought in the middle. They feel pressured to place a bet, so they put $10 on the pass line. It's like that your advantage
Why?
was gone a long time ago. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's just newbie silliness, I think, to some degree. So, all right, man, it's 8:30. I've got to get going. I'm late for my meeting for work. My work meeting is 8:15 every day, so we went a little long, but that's okay. I enjoy talking to
Right
you.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any final?
I enjoy talking with you.
But before we leave, I want you to talk a little bit about the Craps League.
Yeah, crapsplayerleague.com. Right now, we're signing up. We have over 100 people signed up. We're looking for teams to be a part of the Craps Player League. It has two main things: your dice score, which everybody wants a good dice score, right? Of how many times you rolled. It also depends on what numbers rolled, and your bankroll score, where you started off with your bankroll and how you did with it over 10 shooters. It's going to take those two and combine for a ranking to see where you are among the world's best craps players, And so
Now,
I have right here a founders only founders club. We are doing some funding, but the thing about it, you don't need to do the funding. All you need to do is join, get on the waiting list so that you can be a part of a team or lead a team. We're actually created where the team leaders will be able to do their own sponsors, collect their own funds, however they want to do it. So it is a chance and an opportunity for people to really have their own team. I would like to see. I thought there might be a pro craps team, but
there will
now
be.
you changed the name. Now you changed
Well,
the name.
I'm still that guy. I'm still. Well, the thing is, it's it's like people reminded you, like, you gotta do other games besides craps for the cruising thing, but you're kind of branded as craps. Playing craps for a free cruise. I branded myself as pro craps for all those years.
Yeah,
but I do want to expand the games, and that's why I had to change my name. So, but yeah,
yeah.
we'll put a team there for sure.
There will be a Holy Roller Cruising Club team. Like
Good.
there'll be another team leader that will actually lead up our team for the Holy
Cool.
Roller Cruising Club. But we already have several teams, and we're just we're getting ready to put the actual casinos on the map and on the calendar so that we'll actually arrive to the casino, play a qualifying session, we call it, and then be ranked. And then we'll have the world championship next year.
And then so is it honor system based on the rolls, or is it got to be witnessed by another team? How does that work?
So now you'll be able to figure out what your average score is on your own, because you'll be able to roll your own at home or at wherever, and you'll be able to figure out what your score, what your average is. But then once you come to a qualifying session, we will have officials there that will actually record your bankroll and your rolls, and then you'll get a qualified score. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. That's awesome. What a cool idea. All right, guys. We're out of here. Brian,
right on.
Love you, man.
Yeah,
God bless everybody.
For your time. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Absolutely, dude. All right. See y'all later. Everybody have a great Tuesday. I'll see you tomorrow for a very interesting show. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.